What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Red Halterman. This is a Blinkers Off. What's up, my man?
What is going on, everybody? It's good to be back. Another episode of Blinkers Off. I'm not the host tonight, but that's all right. That's okay with me. I can kind of sit back and relax and just let you take it away tonight.
I think the people might want you back. Personally, I want you back.
Listen, I can make a comeback if it's requested enough, not by you, but by the fans out there. If the fans request it, I'll come back. That's fine.
Well, yeah,
I had fun last weekend.
You did a great job on the pod. Then you did a great job on Racing Dudes Live during the Pegasus. Kind of got a little out of hand at times, but that's kind of your style, right? So, but yeah, we're back. Obviously, a big weekend. The Pegasus is over, which was a great Pegasus. Nick Sco, Colonel Liam winning those two races there, and obviously the guide did very, very well for us. The wagering, the section of the guide that you and I, the betting side of things, did really, really well again. And it's kind of like in typical fashion, we end the Pegasus and we jump right back into Derby preps, and really these next two this weekend are going to be big. I think there's a couple good horses that might be running each of these races, and then obviously from here on out it's Derby action.
That's right. Yeah, this is the unofficial beginning of the Derby trail for me, because now that the Pegasus is out of the way, it's the only focus. So, yeah, I mean, we have two really interesting races, is how I'll kind of phrase it before we get into the show today, just to kick this thing off, right? It's going to be fascinating to see how these two kind of shake out, who is for real and who's kind of a pretender. We're going to kind of figure that out, in these two races on Saturday. Really good betting cards all weekend long, whether it's Gulfstream and Santa Anita and Oaklawn, or Sam Houston that we'll talk about for a second on Sunday as well. There's a really, really good betting card there at Sam Houston on Sunday. So yeah, this is a really fun weekend after a blast last weekend with the Pegasus. I mean, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's funny that these two races, for whatever reason, it seems like the Holy Bull meeting in the Robert B. Lewis, these preps we had this weekend seem to be kind of productive. Whereas sometimes you get into this February and you kind of get in the lull a little bit, and then you kind of get back into it in March. It feels like with the Derby preps, and so yeah, for whatever reason, the Holy Bull and the Robert B. Lewis are somewhat productive. It seems like in years past.
Oh, yeah, for absolutely. And, the San Vicente out at Santa Anita is coming up in a couple of weeks, and that has been a productive race as well. So Santa Anita, yeah, they've lost, a lot of the luster as far as fuller fields, although this Robert B. Lewis is full. Well, not full, but for a Santa Anita field, very large for a stakes on the Derby Trail. But they might lack in horse population, but they've had a lot of stars. There's no way around that. And then, of course, Gulfstream, that's always a producer. So, yeah, it's a heavy hitter to knock or to start us off here. There's a lot of things to talk about.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you look at the Robert B. Lewis, obviously Bob Baffert has basically owned this race, but horses like I'll Have Another, Dortmund, More Spirit, Mucho Gusto, 1,000 Words last year, and then in the Holy Bull, Tis the Law. Let's not forget. So long ago, feels like forever. Tis the Law, Audible. So it's one of those. It's one of those races that, like I say, it's for whatever reason. Being in these early races, sometimes they don't really equate to being productive. This one is not that way. These two races. So yeah, it's a really good weekend, and the races have some horses that kind of need to be decided whether it be if they're, like you said, pretender or contenders. So I think we're going to find that out this weekend. But before we start anything, what's the best thing you saw today?
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta hand it to my boy Saratoga Slim. He posted a video of his son Oliver Spector, who's I don't know how old he is now, about 4 or 5 months probably at this point. Time's really flying by. But anyway, he posted a reaction video to Oliver Spector for me voting him for Apprentice Jockey of the Year in our Eclipse Awards. I voted for Oliver Spector for anybody who didn't see that post that Magic did. And Oliver looked excited that he got my vote. So that was easily the best thing I saw today. Very cute video of the next racing legend, Oliver Spector.
Are you watching the Eclipse Awards right now? I see him on in your background right there.
I will say this to all the people that are watching. I've never watched one. I plan on never watching one. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't care one bit about the Eclipse Awards. And if you looked at my voting this year on the website, I went full. I don't give a shit. Please don't ask me to do this again. I don't care about end of year awards at all. Not even one little bit.
I think it's the last time Magic asked you to participate in that.
But
no, if anybody tells us, I guess I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, I don't give a shit either. It's like I can look at the results, later tonight or whatever in like 2 seconds and be done with it. I don't need a big show to watch. And at the end of the day, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like it's like who wins or loses. So, boy, I have a lot. Obviously the Chiefs, Super Bowl bound again. I was able to watch it with you. I think that could be a best thing I saw. Obviously, unbelievable what these Chiefs are doing, and we could talk a little bit more at the end. But honestly, I gotta say the best thing I saw today, and I kind of had it all planned out. I thought, I was like, I'm gonna win, and then I got beat at the end. But it's got to be kind of getting back in the tournament. You and I, and then I heard Magic Mike. Yeah, I did listen to some of Magic Mike earlier. Samaj was talking a little bit about it, and we had a call with him earlier this week, and we got talking about tournaments. We're like, you know what, Halter and I both have been we're always so busy. That's the deal. We don't have time to play the tournaments, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna play a little bit. And you and I got into the action today. We had a couple entries. You played last night, and then you got in today at Gulfstream Park. We had a couple entries, one for NHC, one for BCBC. And we're both live right now, so we can give some updates throughout we're playing. We're both playing Charlestown right now, true degenerate fashion. Yeah. In a NHC qualifier. But yeah, it was so much fun. I just got the BCBC one. It was the top 4 finishers advanced to a seat in the qualifier this weekend, and I got out like I was red hot. Three wins in a row. I was trying to go wire to wire. Got 2 races it left, and I went to second. I get to the last race, I'm in second. I have the 4, which I think he's either the favorite or the second favorite. I think he was a favorite in the last race. And fucking Irad takes this horse on the turf like 45, going a mile, when he could have gone 46 just fine and still had the lead. I mean, it was unbelievable. And the horse almost holds on. It's like all he needed to do is get second. I still would have got my top 4 spots to get a qualifying spot. And he fucking gets nosed out for third. It was brutal, but at the same time, man, it got the juices flowing. I love it. It's fun to play, but yeah. So getting back in the tournament action, hopefully one of both of us, or all 3 of us, I guess, with Samich can get in some qualifying spots here the next couple of months. But man, it's fun to kind of get back into that.
Yeah, it's been fun kind of following it for sure. Yeah, I told you, welcome to weekday racing when you lost that race, because it's like, this is why people hate jockeys. Because that's what happens in these races. Yeah, the horse, he's talking about the 10th race on Thursday today, if you're listening, at Gulfstream Park, where the 4 horse was like 25 lengths ahead of everybody else up the backside. And it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? The horse still almost holds on to win. And you got to think a little bit slower pace up front before wins. And there was really no reason to go that fast. There wasn't anybody close to the horse the whole way until the very end when he got caught. Number 4, Another, was the horse that you're referring to.
It's also worth mentioning that he wasn't even he didn't go to the front. Like, he doesn't do that. You know what I mean? So it was just like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, what? I understand why people want to get on Twitter and bash jockeys after that one, because I was just like, are you kidding me, Irad? Like, what? what are we doing here? But anyways, hopefully we can get a spot here. You listen to us live right now. If you are listening to us live, thank you. If you're not, make sure you tune into YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We do these live on Thursdays, and of course, you can follow. The good thing is subscribe to just any of those social media accounts. You get alerted. Between the Rocket Hour, between Blinkers Off, and the Magic Mike Show, we're doing something live. It seems like almost every single day, and it's good to get in. Get those alerts, and you kind of tune in and listen to what we're doing. And obviously tonight, if you're degenerates like us, late at night, you can handicap with us at Charlestown. I can't believe I'm actually playing Charlestown. So that's the reality. But no. Yeah, best thing I saw has to be that, and we'll talk about a little bit Chiefs coming up at the end of the show so we don't bore people. All right, today's show, big show. Let's get into it. We're going to preview the $200,000 Holy Bull Stakes at Gulfstream Park and the $100,000 Robert B. Lewis Stakes, both Grade 3 at Santa Anita. They're each Kentucky Derby preps. We're going to give some rapid fire selections for some of the remaining stakes action this weekend at Gulfstream Park, Santa Anita Park, and Sam Houston. Let's go. Oh, yeah, that was – if you guys haven't seen this race, go watch it. I mean, I don't want to watch it again, but, God, that was sickening.
Wasn't good. Was not good. it was something to behold, I'll tell you what.
And like I say, even as mad as I was, like, well, he's gonna hang on. Like, he can hang on he's like, he can still win from here. Oh, he can definitely at least get second, which all I need. I think I missed the qualifying spot by 80 cents. So that was brutal. So
Braden Klotz chimes in, Knicks go, clean as a whistle. It's funny because Braden was the one that finished second in the Pegasus betting challenge. So talk about tournaments. That's maybe a guy you need to talk to right there.
He's probably the one that knocked me out.
And listen, I tried to stand up for, I don't really know who I'm standing up for on Twitter about calling out that very thing about Knicks Go and maybe some other horses in that barn. And none of the industry professionals seem to think there's a problem. So I'm in give up mode really on that subject. They beat me down, I don't really know how people can sit here and watch racing day after day after day and then just turn a blind eye to it like so many people within the industry do. So I don't have another comment on that.
I know. It's crazy.
It's insanity.
I couldn't even believe all the people that have once been against it all of a sudden are just like, oh, well, hang on, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you don't know. Like, the horse could have just improved that great. It's like, really?
The best argument was Knicks Go was a grade 1 winner before he got to Brad Cox. It's just like, oh my God, really?
I mean,
really? Is that your argument? That's what you're going to live on? Okay.
And it's unbelievable the fact that how many people have chimed in that just for whatever reason are now like, oh, it happens. It's no big deal. It's like, really,
that's a slippery slope to accuse somebody. Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah. I'm off Twitter now. So thanks everyone for that.
Let's get back to talking about LASIX or something, Yeah.
Anything.
All right. We're going to talk. Do you want to watch this? Let's go. You want to go live when this race is going off, or do you want to go watch it here? Let's just watch it on the stream here.
I mean, this race isn't going to go off for 10 minutes.
Oh, are they? I pulled
it's the post parade right now. So.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. Let's watch it. Let's do it during the show.
Jackie's Warrior is supposed to run in the Southwest for the last time we heard. So that's the target right now. The Southwest at Oakland.
Southwest, talking about February kind of being slower. The Southwest, though, that thing's going to be loaded.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some serious horses in that one.
Yep, it's going to be a really good one.
Sometimes the Southwest is hit and miss. Every once in a while there's a good one, and then other times it's kind of some duds. This one doesn't feel like a dud. So
yeah. Essential Quality, Keep Me in Mind, and Jackie's Warrior kind of headlining that race as of now. Obviously things change every day on the Kentucky Derby Trail, but that's the three big ones pointing for that right now. And if they all three show up, I mean, that's some of the top finishers in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So I think it's the first, the third, and the fourth finishers in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile showing up in the Southwest. So that's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the other cocks that on the Smarty Cattle River going to run in the Rebel. It's going to go point to the Rebel off of that, which is not surprising. So Brad Cox, man, Knicks go, just living the life, you know.
He's he's clean trainer, and that's what we like about him. So
he knows how to advance. He knows how to advance a horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's the thing I love about him.
That's right.
All right, let's get the Holy Bull up here. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's kick the Derby preps off with the Holy Bull on Saturday at Gulfstream Park, race 11. The Holy Bull, grade 3, with worth $200K for 3-year-olds, going to 160 miles. Field of 9 shows up for this one. Again, Kentucky Derby points on the line, 10-4, 2-1 for your top 4 finishers. As we mentioned in the opening, this is a solid field with some solid horses that, you know, whether they kind of newcomers like Prime Factor that's jumping right into stakes action at 3-1, Greatest Honor, 5-2 morning line favorite who was just claimed in the Fantasy League, I believe, on a 4-way shake. Shug, Jose Ortiz to ride, 5-1 on Sitting on Go for Dale Romans, of course, a horse that at some point earlier in his 2-year-old year was okay. But yeah, you know, Amount for Todd Pletcher, a horse that's that was claimed, I believe, a couple of weeks back in the Fantasy League as well. So you got a couple of Pletchers. You got Shug, who's got some hype. You got Dale Romans, who's can sometimes win a race like this. But what do you think of this race?
I think this race is going to be extremely fascinating. I really think it's a battle of Prime Factor, who I think has a little bit more raw talent, versus the 7 Greatest Honor, who has plenty of experience going 2 turns. So what are you going to take, right? So Prime Factor probably has the flash, right? But first race around 2 turns, only the 2nd race of his career. First Greatest Honor, this will be a 3rd start routing, 5th start of his career. Is Greatest Honor a little more advanced than Prime Factor here? And is that going to make the big difference? I think that's the first thing you got to figure out. And then once you kind of decide, then it becomes pretty easy, because I don't really love anybody else in the spot. The other horse I would use is the number 4 Amount, another Todd Pletcher horse that looked very good on debut, a horse by Curlin. So you would think this stretch out would be pretty good, but the horse is also a half to Mucho, who was a sprinter. So it's kind of a mixed bag on what this horse is going to do. The big difference between the 4 and the 6, the 6 earned a very fast speed figure for that debut win, where the 4 kind of did not. In the end, I lean with the 6 Prime Factor. I think I'm going to take the flash over the experience. It's kind of been a trend on this Kentucky Derby trail that's made sense over the years. You want to take the horse with the most, that's shown the most ability, and maybe not the horse that just has the most experience. I think Prime Factor is the real deal. That's about as good of a debut as you're going to see. And I think if you look at Prime Factor and Prevalence, I think Prime Factor was more impressive than Prevalence was when you talk about debut races. So I'm going to go right back to him. I thought as soon as he won that race back in December, this would be the spot that he would be in. Here he is. I'm going with Prime Factor on top.
First of all, before I get into my picks, my little boys are going to bed and they're watching us currently, so I can't talk to them, tell them good night. But good night, boys. I love you. And hopefully I can pick another. Earlier we were watching Gulfstream Park, and Cohen correctly picked Justify to win one of the races, and he was right. The 1-1, and that was Justify. So that's who he picked. He actually, it's such a proud moment. He called the horse in the turn. He's like, the 1's going to win, and I'm like, and it was I can't remember which race it was. It was in our tournament, Mm-hmm. It was that race, that stakes race with the Dale Romans horse faded real bad, the favorite.
It was an allowance race.
That sprint, and the 1's kind of wheeling up. It's like, oh my gosh, there you go. So Cohen, Cooper, I love you, and good night. All right, let's get to the race. Listen, I'm with you. Prime Factor for me. I listen. The fact that Todd Pletcher is sending him here, like when he's got Amount in the race too, tells me that he thinks a lot of Prime Factor. I mean, it's still early in the season. The horse debuted in December as a 2-year-old, like you'd like to see. He could run him an allowance. You know what I mean? He could run him an allowance here. He could go run in the Fountain of Youth. and then the Florida Derby. Like that seems like a very possible. But the fact that they're just running them right here, right now, let's do it. I think that's a big sign because there's really no need to force the issue, and he is. So Prime Factor, I think, is tough. Greatest Honor, I was a little surprised that maybe not. I mean, that he's the morning line favorite at 5-2 because I feel like Prime Factor is going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
When they get in the gate, so that was a little surprising to me. But Greatest Honor, I see like keeps getting better. So everything's going with this horse right now. Every maiden race got a little better, and couldn't quite get there. Stretches out, almost gets there, gets beat by Known Agenda, then finally gets it done last time out. Seems like obviously being a Tabit horse, this horse is going to only get better with distance and with age. So I like Greatest Honor. I think Prime Factor, man, like I think he might be the goods, and I hate to say it because the Magic Mike show they drafted this horse in the first round.
I know, and they traded up to get him. Like this was like their only horse that they have that's really any good, and they traded up to get him. And so I'm with you. I really hope that Prime Factor loses because of that reason. But I really think the horse is the goods. So yeah, I'm all on Prime Factor here. Outside of the three we kind of mentioned, I don't think there's much here. I don't want any part of Sitting on Go. I don't want any part of Awesome Jerry. Tarantino, no, don't really want any part of that horse as well. For me, it's really Prime Factor or Greatest Honor. And you know what? If one of the other horses other than those two win, this is going to come back a pretty crappy race, in my opinion.
Yeah, Magic says really hurt us the last time you both picked our horse to win. That's true. So maybe we can put the jinx on every time. If that works, like it's a win-win. If he wins, then we're right. If he loses, then the whole league wins, right?
Yep.
Quick update in the old tournament we're playing in. Your horse, the 2 horse at 7-5, just rolls there. My 1 at 7-1 made a move. Looked like it might be tough. Got caught and then freaking didn't hold on for second. Of course. The 2 was my second choice, and 7-5 is tough to play that kind of horse. Yeah. You're not going to get much out of that, but you move on, and you should be the top 2 or 3 after that, right?
I think I'll be ahead with 4 races to go after that, but that means nothing. So don't get too excited.
Yeah, just wait. I've got a huge prize in the last leg. That means none of this matters if I can get that one home. But anyways, right. All right. Prime Factor. Like to me, this is why, like you say, like this is a big like the fact. Do you think if he wise him out 6-1? I thought the debut was also extremely impressive. I
agree.
It was very impressive. I think the numbers came back a little low, a little light, and that's kind of making people less interested. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think. I think that the fact that I think it's also telling like Irad rode both horses and he's on Prime Factor. Like to me, that's the horse you want.
Yeah.
Greatest Honor. Luis Saez rode last time, but Jose kind of started with the horse, so that's why he's back on there. So Luis Saez ends up on a mount. Listen, I think both pletchers could be being the 4 mount. It's still early on, and being a curling horse, like this horse could continue to get better. Like when Pletcher has a horse like this and he runs them this quick and this high level, like they're most of the time really good. This is a bold move. And I feel like with Prime Factor, I'd be really surprised if he doesn't fire.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And with the mount, you're right. I mean, the biggest thing is it's a jockey difference and the speed figure difference. I mean, that's 2 main differences right there that you just can't get away from. And so why is that horse 6-1? Well, that's just it right there. And I think the horse, if you like a mount, I think you're going to get 6, 8-1. I don't think this horse is going to take a ton of money because I think all the money is going on that 6 and 7. But you're right. I think Prime Factor, if the horse doesn't show up with a very good race here, may not see one from him. He may just not be very good because he should show up and run well here. All
right. As far as moving forward, I mean, obviously we're both on Prime Factor. Is there anyone in here that's not necessarily is Greatest Honor a horse that you're really interested, like say in May, but not now?
He's gonna have to show a little more. No, I don't love him. I don't love him, and I'm gonna tell you why. He got beat by Known Agenda 2 races back. I don't like Known Agenda very well. I think he's kind of a mixed bag at this point. He's got some proving to do. I think he's kind of a hit the board type in the bigger races. I do not think he's going to be a horse that you're going to want on the first Saturday in May.
What about Amount, the other Pletcher? Do you think it's a horse that is going to be better, come May, June, July, later in the summer?
Gonna have to prove it. Gonna have to run a little bit faster. This is a really big race for him one way or the other. It'll be easy to answer that question after this race. As of right now, no, I'm not interested in an Amount. Basically, if Prime Factor doesn't win here, it's kind of like, well, there's probably not a Derby, potential winner in the field if Prime Factor doesn't win. Because I think we know what Greatest Honor is. He's decent. That's it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see if Prime Factor can beat a decent horse. And if he can't, then he's not what we think he is. I mean, it's really that simple to me. Greatest Honor is a good horse to have in this field because he's a really good barometer of what the rest of them are talent-wise.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's funny about this race. It's like it feels like it could be a very legit race if Prime Factor wins and he becomes like top 3 or 4 or 5 that we have right now. I mean, he's definitely top contender. And if he doesn't win, yeah, you're like, I don't know what I want out of that race. Like if Sitting on Go wins this race or something, you're just like, really? Like, I'll pass. Like, no thanks. So, it's a big race for Prime Factor, but I think a race that he will answer the call. So we're both on number 6, Prime Factor.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. I just think he's decent. I don't think your horse is a world beater here, but I think he's very valuable for the league because I do think that Sugar will run him 2-3 times, and I think he's one of those horses. He's going to be around. I don't know. Maybe he takes a step forward, but the argument of like, okay, when you're trying to analyze, okay, will this horse take a step forward or not? What makes you think he's going to? Right? Like he's ran around 2 turns a couple times. He's not trying anything different. He doesn't have a new trainer. It's like he kind of probably just is what he is at this point.
Right. Like what's the catalyst? Like what's the thing that making him make that move? He debuted at 72 Beyer. Then he went to a 77. Then he went to a 79. Then he went to an 83 when he finally won his 83 Beyer, which he looked pretty good. So if you kind of follow that pattern, then maybe he gets to an 85 or maybe 87. Well, Prime Factor an 85 on debut. So
yeah,
it's kind of like you kind of know, like you say, you kind of feel like you know what he is, and what's the catalyst? What's going to make him move up enough to where he can win this race? Like I think he's serviceable. I think we're going to see, as long as he stays healthy, we'll probably see him in the next 2, the Fountain of Youth and the Florida Derby, you know what I mean? Because they're going to continue to run him if they're opting to run right now, and he's definitely being shug. Like he's going to keep at it.
Yeah,
it's just like he might pick up. I think Steve. I think he could pick you guys up enough points to get in the Derby. Like I don't think that's unfeasible by any means. I just don't know if he's a world beater like you're hoping.
Well, like you said, let's say he kind of just continues on that path and he gets an 85. Well, if you win this race with an 85 Beyer, that's, good that you were able to win it, but it's not anything that gets you excited. 85 is super decent. So, that's the best you could say about an 85 Beyer on the Kentucky Derby Trail.
Look at this. Aaron Halterman, first place, baby. First place by your boy, Aaron Halterman. In the horse players there, the Charlestown races, we were through 4 races there. He's hitting at 24.60. Top 5, right? Top 5 get in here. So let's see where your boy Jared Welch. Oh, all right, I'm 11th. All right, we're good. So I just need one of these shots. Halterman and I are completely different from here on out. Well, from that last race on out. So one of us is going to do well, I think.
But being first with 4 races left means absolutely nothing. So I'm not even cracking a smile of excitement. It's it's
Trust
just
me.
whatever, you know. I'm not last, and that's good.
I was in first with 2 races today, and
Yeah.
and I missed it. So that's just
Yeah.
how it goes. So it's almost like you almost don't want to be in front. You know, like you feel like in any kind of race where you're in the front, and it's like you like everyone starts coming like, oh shit, here we go.
Yep.
You know, and then that's how it is. All right, let's get to the Robert B. Lewis. Let's see here. 3, 2, 1. Let's go over to Santa Anita on Saturday, race 7. The Robert B. Lewis Stakes Grade 3 with 100K for 3-year-olds going 1/16 miles. Again, a consecutive prep race, 10-4-2-1 for your top 4 finishers. Another good field here. So, you know, we just got done talking about the Holy Bull and what Pletcher has, and let's get to what maybe Bob Baffert has or what else he has, right? 5-2 morning line favorite, the 1, Medina Spirit for Bob Baffert. But listen, I mean, take your shots here because you've got options. Spielberg, 7-2. Horse that obviously needs no introduction, the $1 Million horse. Hot Rod Charlie making his first start since kind of completely surprising everybody at finishing second to Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup at 3-1, 4-1 to Wipe the Slate. Another Doug O'Neill. So Doug O'Neill's got a couple in here. Bob Baffert's got a couple in here. What do you think?
This race is the most intriguing race of the weekend for me. You talk about separating the contenders from the pretenders. This race is going to do it, right? You got the 8-horse Spielberg, who I think is a total phony. We're going to see what he's made of, right? You got Wipe the Slate coming out of a big maiden win. We're going to see what he's made of. Hot Rod Charlie he gets second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at a massive price. We're going to see if that was a fluke or not. Medina Spirit runs a huge race against Life is Good. We're going to see if that was phony. This is crazy. This race has a lot of intrigue. I think you could go a lot of different ways. I would not talk you off any of the 8 horses other than the 6. I would not say play the 6. That being said, I'm taking the second longest shot on the board when it comes to morning line odds. I'm going number 2 Rombauer on top here, and I am shocked that I'm doing it. But here's kind of my thinking. First time out on the dirt was in the American Pharoah, got second, beaten 3/4 of a length, really closed up nicely. So I thought, okay, that was a pretty good performance. Goes to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, horrible start, really bad. This horse likes to come from behind, but not 13 lengths behind. We need to be 6, 7, 8 lengths behind. Still ran very well late, was coming on late, was closing, got 5th, beaten 6 1/4. Got beat by Hot Rod Charlie. I realize that. I want to see this horse get a little bit better trip here. Get out of the gate better, get a little better positioning. And I'm really excited the horse gets reunited with Mike Smith because the best effort of the horse's career came with Mike Smith aboard. Finally, you look at this race, I think there's pace signed on, Jared. I think there's some horses that are going to go early. I think there's a chance for a closer here. And you think about Santa Anita when that track gets a little bit wet and it gets a little bit tiring. And if you didn't know, Friday, Santa Anita is canceled because of rain. That track's a little wet. Closers usually do decent on that surface. I think Rombauer at 8-1 is extremely interesting. So that's who I landed on top here.
I'm gonna say I'm a little surprised by that pick. The fact that you've got couple O'Neills in here. You've got a couple Bafferts in here, and you're sitting there going with Michael McCarthy and Mike Smith. I don't necessarily, finishing second in a grade 1 and then goes to the Breeders' Cup, and like you say, kind of got a bad trip, and finishing 5th kind of came on still, and obviously Essential Quality, Hot Rod Charlie, keep me in mind, all good horses, and so I get the fact, like, give him a better trip. Let's see. I don't like if you're gonna take a shot on him, this is the race, right? To your point. As far as the weather, I think that's a good point. It's something that we just won't know yet, right? Until we see these horses run. On that, I think you might be right about the pace setup. I think you're dead on. I just want he's a little too much of a dead closer for me. I just don't. I can see him picking up the pieces, finishing second or third, like he likes to do. Winning the race seems shocking to me. But hey, that's why they run, right? Medina Spirit is a horse. I think you and I both, well, Magic says Mike Smith went to ride Rombier in the Breeders' Cup, but couldn't get enough mounts to make the trip. Well, obviously he's not good enough, not that good of a horse, because he can make one trip to go ride him. Medina Spirit. I think you and I are both on the same page here, trying to beat him, right? He's not anything against him. He's Florida bred, but he just seems like he's not like a hyped horse for Baffert, right? I get that he's a favorite, but he didn't go off the favorite in his debut. He didn't go off the favorite in his next race, which again, he was facing Life is Good. He finished second. I mean, I think he surprised a little bit. I think he surprised some people that he even finished second in that race. So to go to 5-2 here, which I understand John's logic because he's bought Baffert. I'm going to try to beat him. So seems a little biased, but I'm going to go Hot Rod Charlie. I just think it's almost like you and I talked a little bit about him prior to the show. It's like if he runs the races he's been running after they added the blinkers, then he's got a very, very good shot to win. We'll find out how fluky it is or not fluky. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. That's what you go from 2 to 3. We'll see. He finishes second in the Breeders' Cup by less than a length to Essential Quality, who most people, most people have ranked number 1 overall as a 3-year-old. We did it at 94-1. So, I mean, obviously he was very, I remember like vividly, it's like, who the hell is that horse? That's Hot Rod Charlie. And if you remember, for like half a second, he was in the lead of that race. This is a horse that if he runs like that, there's nothing impressive about the horse. But to me, the way the pace sets up, he's the perfect horse you want because he's not going to close from the clouds, but yet he will set off the pace a little bit enough to where he'll make a run. Being a son of Oxbow, you and I both love Oxbow. He should be able to run the distance. No issue there. So until proven otherwise, I think you got, he's been a different horse since adding the blinkers.
Yeah, I take this son of Oxbow standing at Calumet Farm very seriously, Hot Rod Charlie. I was very excited to see this son of Oxbow standing at Calumet Farm winning or almost winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That would have been amazing with his sire just standing next door there to the track, but still ran very well. I'm kind of with you. I don't really think it was a fluke. I think he'll run well here. This was my second choice. Almost put this horse on top. And I think honestly, I think that might be the most logical winner of this race is Hot Rod Charlie, which is weird to say, but Doug O'Neill said some really, really good things about this horse, and look who jumps aboard, Joel Rosario. So He's got the attention of the California riding circuit, our jockey circuit, I should say. Medina Spirit is definitely one I'm going to use defensively. You're right. We didn't hear a lot of hype from this horse, and then all of a sudden comes out and just runs a huge number. And now here we are. What is Medina Spirit? We're going to find out. We're definitely going to find out. With him, I think he's got to be a defensive use, but I am going to try to beat him on top. I don't have any interest in Spielberg. I kind of thought maybe wipe the slate debut or the opening day at Santa Anita. This horse won in a decent maiden special weight, beat a decent horse in Affable, but won rather easily. I kind of thought that was an interesting horse to play in fourth, but I don't think this is a race you go short in. I'll be 3-4 deep in this race for sure, because there's just a lot of, like I said at the beginning, a lot of really fascinating horses. And this is a race we're going to learn a lot out of moving forward.
Magic chimes in half to Matoli, and I'm glad you said that because that's something I had read while I was doing the handicapping. Hot Rod Charlie, obviously his sire is Oxbow, staying at Calumet Farms, I believe. I've heard that. But he's out of a dam by Indian Miss, or out of the dam Indian Miss, out of Indian Charlie, and this is that same dam as Matoli. So obviously he's got talent. All 4 siblings are winners, including the monstrous Matoli, as it says. So it's kind of he's obviously a very well bred horse, on both sides. So it's exciting, I think, to see what this horse is. And he could be anything. It wouldn't be surprising if he turns into a sprinter. It wouldn't be surprising if he just completely falls off. It wouldn't be surprising if Doug O'Neill gets him to the Derby. I think O'Neill's got a few good ones, and this is obviously his top one. So Hot Rod Charlie for me. What do you think of this? Kind of the same lines of the last race. Like, you're obviously picking for an upset, so kind of talk through that. Like, as far as this race, is this as far as moving forward? Like, is there someone you're like, is Hot Rod Charlie a horse that you're not playing, but you really think he's like going to continue to run well in each race? Or is it Medina Spirits? Like, you hate to say it, but that horse is just going to get to the Kentucky Derby because it's Bob Baffert, like, or maybe Spielberg, whatever it is. Like, what do you think of this race overall as we look forward to the Derby in May?
Yeah, first of all, I think Doug O'Neill's best horse is the Great One. I'll start with that. Secondly, listen, if Medina Spirit wins this race pretty impressively, you got to think this is a primetime major contender, right? But the same goes with Hot Rod Charlie. If this horse wins impressively, primetime contender. I think the winner here is going to be a little bit better of a contender than the winner in the Holy Bull. I really do. I think this race is deep. I think there's several here that could jump up and run a pretty big race. And there's just a lot of unknowns. Well, Prime Factor is a bit of an unknown as well, but I think here there's more of that. There's more intrigue in this race for me. So yeah, I think this one is fascinating. I'm really, really, going to study the 1, the 2, the 4, the 7, and the 8, and I'll even throw in the 5 as horses that, okay, here's their big test. Can they progress? And what kind of progression have they made since that 2-year-old season? It's going to be a lot of fun.
Evil Steve wants to know about Roman Centurion to hit the board.
I think at a price, yeah, I think that's a really good price play. You look at the maiden on debut was a horse that lost to Life is Good and lost to Wipe the Slate. So good maiden special weight field, obviously. And then last out just dusted rivals at Santa Anita maiden special weight at this distance. And it makes sense. The stretch out in distance for this horse is definitely what he needed with the breeding Empire Maker out of a Bernardini mare. You're not going to sprint very well usually with that pedigree. Yeah, I think the 5 makes a ton of sense. The 5 and the 2, kind of the same boat, closers that I think have a shot because his pace is going to be pretty rapid. It's definitely a horse that we could step up and see run pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. That horse is, I honestly feel like, a little more intriguing to me personally than your 2 Rombier, just because I like the way that horse is bred. And like you say, should get the distance. And if it is a soft track, I think that's going to be okay as well. So the 5 underneath, I like that play a lot. But for the top pick, you're going for a little upset special here on number 2. And I'm going to go with the 4, Hot Rod Charlie. All right. We are 6 minutes to post for race number 5 at Charlestown.
Yeah, still in the paddock.
Your signature dish is even money favorite. First time in my life, fun fact, first time in my life that I've ever completely handicapped a Charlestown card on a Thursday night. So, felt like a special degenerate tonight. It was nice. All right, so we got a ton. I mean, there's racing action across the board. Gulfstream Park, Oaklawn's got a few. Santa Anita, of course, has the San Pascal, as well as Robert B. Lewis. We've got, obviously, Sunday racing at Sam Houston. Too much stakes action to talk about rapid fire for all of them. They're all kind of worthy enough to talk about. So we're going to do our old special here like we did last week where, we give a race. Most excited to watch. The best value winner. Most likely winner. So, unfortunately, you don't have Halterman doing the podcast this week, so it doesn't have lock that shit up. Although I should have used that. It's very basic, but we'll kick things off with the most excited to watch, the best value, and our most likely. So,
yep, did well last week. Most likely winner was Performer. One of the best values, Tied to the Sea, was a winner, so that was good. And then the race we were most looking forward to was that maiden special weight that produced Prevalence. So had a pretty good
shake. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that we were kind of excited. The Prevalence was we talked a little bit about on the show, but it wasn't like being the homebred from Godolphin, but it wasn't like we were overly pumping that horse. But turns out 9-way shake later, it's a big time horse in the league. We'll see.
Yep, for sure. I don't know the Eclipse Award answer. I know the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner has only won the Derby twice, but I don't know the Eclipse answer. It's more than that.
Man, I feel like I have a. Hang with us here. I have a stat that's kind of like that from the supplement guide, from the Breeders' Cup. That's interesting. I know that's a little different, but it has some of the horses that maybe have won Eclipse Awards. The last 5 TVG Juvenile winners, which were Storm the Court, Game Winner, Good Magic, Classic Empire, and Nyquist, each made it to the Kentucky Derby starting gate the following year. So Nyquist was a 2-year-old. Eclipse winner. Classic Empire was. Good Magic was not, right? Or was he?
He was.
He was. Game Winner was Game Winner as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But none of those horses other than Nyquist won the Kentucky Derby. So
American Pharoah was an Eclipse Award winner.
Yep.
I don't know I know the Breeders' Cup Juvenile thing. The answer is 2, but I do not know the Eclipse because there's a lot Eclipse Awards. There's a lot of them I think earlier on that won it and then came back to win the Derby.
I'd say the best answer is recently. If you're a 2-year-old Eclipse winner, you probably have a shot, or you're probably more than likely in the Derby. Winning the Derby is another story.
Right. Yeah, Street Sense won both. Curtis, yeah, Street Sense and Nyquist. Those are the 2 that won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. No, wait a second. I don't think did Street Sense win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile? I don't think that's accurate. I'll have to look that up. No, I thought he got upset. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, he won.
He did win? Okay.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of that got upset and then came back to win? I don't know. Yeah, so there's 2.
Yeah, I only asked because Central Quality won 2-year-old Eclipse. Listen, we've talked a lot about this, Michael, and I think that's the issue you have when even with Baffert horses when they win the Breeders' Cup, when they win the 2-year-old Eclipse Award, I feel like your chances of getting him to the Derby are extremely likely. To get him in to win, he's going to have to be special. I think that's what we've seen in the past.
I was thinking of looking at Lucky, who got upset. Yeah, he got upset in 07. For some reason, I get those two. I get those 2 mixed up. But looking at Lucky, he won the Eclipse, but he did not win the Derby, but he did win the Preakness. But look at Lucky may have won the Derby if he didn't draw the rail. So there's there's a lot of different factors.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like
things.
I'm always so fearful of having an Eclipse winner, like a 2-year-old champion, whether it be the Breeders' Cup or Eclipse Award, because it just feels like unless they're American Pharoah, I know Nyquist did it, but it's hard to get them to the winner's circle the first Saturday in May.
Here's a trivia question for anybody out there, and you can chime in. I'm not gonna give you the answer. What was the last Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner to win their first start as a 3-year-old?
Last juvenile winner?
Yep. Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner to win their first start as a 3-year-old. You know what? You can comment in the section too. I'm gonna look. I think I know, but I'm gonna make sure.
Didn't Nyquist win he
won the San Vicente. Yep.
San Vicente, that sprint. Yep.
So there you go. Everybody's right. Good job.
Nyquist was a very, very good horse. Let's just leave it.
Good.
This horse, wins his maiden, wins his best pal, wins the Futurity, wins the front runner, wins the Breeders' Cup, wins the San Vicente, wins the Florida Derby, wins the Kentucky Derby, finishes 3rd in the Preakness, and is never the same again. So,
yeah, he did fall off, but he definitely is a special horse. But the point is, they usually lose that first start out, right? Like they've been losing. So, gotta remember that 2016 was the last time that happened.
Yep. All right, let's get to some rapid fire.
Stay listening, right. Magic. This. I got a shout out for you coming.
3, 2, 1. Time for rapid fire presented by Racing Dudes Premium. That's right. Go ahead, head on over to racingdudes.com. Go to the products page and check out our Racing Dudes Premium, where you can get Ricky's Rockets, you get Soma Bombs, you can get Racing Dudes Premium picks, all that available on the products page at racingdudes.com. Again, we have we killed it last week with our Pegasus wagering guide. We do wagering guides at least once a month. You get those free, included with any subscription. Now is the time to subscribe, as the Derby Trail is just heating up, and we'll have a ton of guides coming out in the next couple of months. So now is the time to subscribe at racingdudes.com under the premium section on the products page. All right, we're gonna, the field, it's a little too, or the stakes action is too insane this weekend. You've got undercard of 4 races at the Gulfstream Park. We got 2 Kentucky Oaks prep races. We got 2 stakes races at Oaklawn Park, one of which is a Kentucky Oaks race. We've got San Pasqual, Santa Anita, Sam Houston on Sunday. Their card is insane. So there's too many stakes to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we have done in the past when we have a lot to talk about. Most excited to watch, our best value winner, our most likely winner. So let's start things off with let's do you're most excited to watch. What race, just in general, are you most excited to watch? And let's give a pick.
No doubt about it. Race 5 from Santa Anita on Saturday, the San Pasqual Stakes. Why? Because number 1, Tiz a Magician, is in the race. This is Magic's horse, and I couldn't be more excited to watch Tiz a Magician run here. So this is going to be fun. It's always exciting when this horse is entered, and the fact that he's in a Grade 2 race. Magic may go crazy, so I think that's going to be a lot of fun. There he's weighing in here. So my pick is not Tiz a Magician. I'm going to go number 2, Idol, on top as my pick, but it doesn't matter. My pick doesn't matter. It's just trying to get Tiz a Magician home will be the main goal on Saturday at Santa Anita, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Yeah,
I mean, how about that? You got Tiz a Magician, obviously, for the heart reasons. It's a nice little field. And then King Guillermo. Hello, yeah. King Guillermo is back after we finally saw him come back in December at Aqueduct on the dirt. Now he's on the turf, where he has won on the turf. He broke his maiden on the turf at Gulfstream Park West. So who the hell knows, right? But he's back. So I agree. It's a fun race. And of course, you're hoping that Tiz Magician go gate to wire. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool to see that this horse has, the way he won. And obviously, I would love to have a camera on Magic at all times of this race, because that is, I mean, to me, you talk about a passionate owner. That's him, right? I'm going to go with, let's see. Let's go the Kitten's Joy. That's the race I'm most excited to watch at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. The Gulfstream Park on Saturday. And this is race number 4, the Kitten's Joy. I'm most excited to watch this race because, listen, Kentucky Pharaoh, a horse that Halterman picked last time out, and a horse that we, obviously a son of American Pharaoh, but he matches up with the horse from Todd Pletcher's bar, Never Surprised, and a horse that looks really good at 2 starts. So, to me, 2 really fast horses, 2 really good turf horses. I'm excited because I think these both could be legit horses. One for Sisterson, one for Todd Pletcher. I think it's a solid field, and I'm really interested to see, which one's better.
Yeah, I am too. I'm excited to see that as well. Right now, I love Kentucky Pharaoh to death, but right now I'm leaning number 6, Never Surprise. That horse has looked very good in 2 starts. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch this one. I think that's a really good pick. When I saw Kentucky Pharaoh entered, I thought, hey, that's going to be my likely winner. And then I started handicapping the race. It's like, yeah, that's not going to be my likely winner because Never Surprise is awfully good, but yeah, it'll be a really good race. I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought the same thing. It's like, well, Kentucky Pharaoh is the horse you want to in this race, but then you look at Never Surprised, hasn't lost a race, and kind of a typical Pletcher progression type horse. So I don't know. To me, this horse has a lot. There's a lot in this horse that I feel like could be really good. Never Surprised, that is. And obviously we know what kind of Kentucky Pharaoh is. So yeah, I'm just most excited for this race because I feel like these horses could be sort of legit contenders in the turf circuit as we move forward into the year. All right, let's go to, by the way, I'm picking Never Surprised in the race. Let's go to our best value winner. That's what everyone wants to hear. Best value winner of the stakes action on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I think if you really want value this weekend, Sam Houston is the big place to go on Sunday. I think you could pick a best value out of almost all their stakes races, maybe other than the big one, the Ladies Classic, but the rest of these are freaking wide open. A lot of them are on the turf, and that's where we've had a lot of success picking long shots. Over the last, let's say, 4 or 5 months, even is on this turf. And I went right to it. The 5th race at Sam Houston on Sunday, the Pulse Power Turf Sprint at Sam Houston. They're going 5 furlongs. Another magic horse, number 3, Caratori. I like Caratori here. I think this race is gonna suit him very well. Gets a little bit of a freshening after a tough race last time out at Churchill Downs in a Grade 2. I think the $100,000 stakes level is right where he needs to be. I like the 5 furlongs. I expect him to run well after getting that little bit of that break. And 2 back, he beat Tiger Blood at Ellis Park, and Tiger Blood's my second choice in this race. So how could I not go with number 3, Caratori on top? So give me that all day at 8-1. And boy, Sam Houston, man, there's a lot to like about Sam Houston on Sunday.
Dude, I think there's that race in particular feels like it could be a crapshoot. I like Mo Maverick a little bit at 5-1. I like although the outside, the 12-horse Kingpin at 12-1. It just feels like that kind of race. It could be wide open. I mean, obviously it's a sprint going 5 furlongs, like you say, at Sam Houston. So will be tough. I'm going to go with one of the Kentucky Oaks preps on the weekend, and that's at let's go to Gulfstream Park. We'll stick at Gulfstream Park for me. The Forward Gal. This is race 9 on the card, and it is a Kentucky Oaks prep race, 10-4-2-1 for your top 4 finishers. And I think all the action is going to be on and it's going to be interesting because I think you may have the most likely winner in this race, right? Which I think is fun. Zagel and Coach Joy and Ladies Traveler. A lot of action going to be on that. But what about the competitive speed, the 3-horse at 8-1? I mean, this horse has done nothing wrong in the last 3 starts, and maybe just is this. I feel like because it's like, well, it's obviously you don't have the high names and you don't have Todd Pletcher, you don't have Saffie Joseph or Ryan Rad or whatever, you're not going to get the action. But competitive speed, man, this horse has looked. She's been really, really good at Gulfstream Park. 2 for 2 at Gulfstream Park. Obviously going a little bit longer here, but look at the last couple races. I mean, this horse is just flying. Loves this track. I think she keeps getting better, and I really like the way her number came back last time in that Glitter Women's race at Gulfstream Park. So at 8-1, I just feel like she's gonna be overlooked enough to where she's value.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just roll right into the best bet for me, and I will comment on competitive speed here in the Forward Gal and say that I'm a little worried about the stretch out in distance, and it could be because of Cinnabunny last weekend, but it's like, oh, that 7 furlongs will probably get her. So I don't know. I'm still a little gun shy. Plus, it is a step up, but these horses really aren't world beaters, except maybe for the 7 Zagel, who is going to be my most likely winner on the 2 race cards or the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Listen, I like that the horse won at 7 furlongs on debut and won very, very easily by over 7 lengths in hand. Just looked really, really good. And it's kind of the same theme, I should say, as the Holy Bull, just taking that Pletcher horse off of a huge maiden win. That's what I'm going to do with number 7, Zagel. I'll be disappointed, just like Prime Factor. Same here with Zagel. I'll be disappointed if this horse doesn't run really well. Maybe your 3 gets the job done and beats her, and then the 7 gets second. It's like, well, the 3 was just better, but the 7, if the 7's not right there with a chance to win in the end, or actually do win in the end, I'll be shocked. I really like the 7 in that spot.
Yeah, man, that's it's funny that it shows you how the race, like how you can look at a race, like whereas I have the most value and you have your most likely winner in the same race. And listen, I really like the horse. Like that horse should run really well. Like I'm looking for value in a sense, this horse will be overlooked and doesn't deserve to be 8-1. So I mean, let's be clear. Like if the horse number 3 competitive speed gets bet down to like 3-1, then the value's gone, right? So it's like you got to kind of if you get somewhere around the 6, 7, 8-1, then there's value. But if you're sitting there between 8-5 and 4-1, give me the 7, right? Because I just feel like there's not a value with the 3. So like I want to make sure I preface that it's all about the odds. I'm not just say that's my pick because of the value at 8-1, but doesn't mean that's going to stay the same come post time. All right, let's go to. This is scary. Let's go to Oaklawn. I've got 2 Oaks races in my races here that I'm talking about. Most likely winner. Let's go to the Martha Washington, number 3 coach for Brad Cox. So that's a little bit of a bold take because I don't know. I mean, there's obviously going to be, I think, shorter prices in the 2 days. But listen, I mean, you're looking for, Brad Cox obviously can't be it's the way he's training. Can't be a hotter trainer right now. And you got a horse like Coach who last time out finishes 3rd in the Goldenrod to Travel Column, a horse that looked unbelievable in that race. And, prior to that hadn't lost and hadn't gotten close to losing really. And really ran an improved race in the Goldenrod, just got beat by a little bit better horses. But listen, there's not any Travel Columns in this race. So, Coach coming to making her debut here, her 3-year-old debut for Brad Cox, get Flo to ride. I think she's going to be really, really tough to beat. I'm not saying like she's like, like going to be like a legit Kentucky Oaks contender, but I definitely think Coach for Brad Cox is going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I looked at this race a lot, and because of Coach, kind of thinking maybe the same thing. The only thing I'm a little bit scared of, the one Joy's Rocket is pretty good as well, coming off a couple of wins down at our Keeneland, and then the last one at the Fairgrounds. Yeah. Stretch out in distance, I don't really think will hurt because it's a mile at Oaklawn and it has early speed, which you need at Oaklawn going a mile as well. So that's why I kind of shied away. I think it's a 2-horse race though between the 1 and the 3. So I definitely don't hate it. The 3, yes, Travel Column won that race, but Coach was not embarrassed in that one. So right. I like it. I like it. And we know a character at Oaklawn called Coach. So I always envision that this horse is named after the character we know down in Oaklawn. I know we don't know his name. None of our friends know his name. He just says, "Call me Coach." So hopefully he's listening.
hopefully Coach has got some action on Coach on Saturday.
I do know, because we haven't been to Oaklawn in so long. Coach is kind of old. I do know that Coach is still alive and kicking, and he's hanging around Oaklawn a lot from the reports I have from our local friends down there. So Coach is still around, so that's good.
That's good. I mean, because honestly, you never know, right?
Yep. No, you don't.
I honestly was trying to decide on, and both of them were on the same card at Oaklawn for my most likely winner, between Frank Sraquette later on in the card, kind of making her 4-year-old debut for Bill Mott, or Coach for Brad Cox there in this race. So I like both of them. Frank Sraquette was so bad in the Breeders' Cup that you just kind of wonder how is she going to return, and I know that she's been very tough. She rattled off, 4 in a row last year, but how's she going to return? So I needed one more from her, whereas Coach, I feel like a little more confidence, and obviously it helps when you have Brad Cox, right? Like I just kind of feel like he knows a thing or two. So
you talk about Frank Sraquette. The horse that scares me there is Amy's Challenge, because Amy's Challenge really loves Oaklawn, coming off a big effort on the same day where Frank Sraquette sucked. But I mean, obviously much easier race for Amy's Challenge. Maybe that's the race Frank Sraquette should have been in. But anyway, I think that horse scared me a little bit too. But I thought about Frank Sraquette, but Amy's Challenge, man, at Oaklawn, especially early, she's usually pretty tough.
Yeah, I agree. Amy's Challenge is what scared me there, that not to make it my most likely winner, just because, like you say, at Oaklawn, she's, got 3 wins and 8 starts, and at the distance, she's got 5 wins and 8 starts. So she's obviously a very classy horse at Oaklawn Park. All right. Any final thoughts on the 2-day, Saturday, Sunday action going on across the country?
Yeah, I think in the two Derby preps, don't try to single, don't try to go short. I would go 3 deep in the Holy Bull, 4 or 5 deep in the Robert B. Lewis. I think they're wide open. Even that race at Gulfstream, there's not a lot of heavy hitters in there, but if Prime Factor isn't the real deal, ooh, that thing could really open up. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. Try to find your singles outside of the Derby preps would be my main advice going into this weekend. Listen, enjoy it. Once again, I said it last week. It's like, have a great time this weekend with the Pegasus. And this is the same thing. You got so much good racing all across the country. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll pull a Ricky's Rocket Hour. And what is this? What does he say? In 3 words or less. Give me, I learned a lot while watching. What's the analysis on Saturday night? Like after these preps have ran, what's like, are we saying legit contender? Or are we saying, well, that sucked? Give me your, what are you expecting after these 2 Derby preps run?
3 words or less.
I'm going to ask you to talk, but I want to know your opinion. But in a second, I want to know your opinion. So after I get done talking, I want to hear what you're going to say. But in 3 words or less, I want you to say something, because I want to be done talking here shortly. And when I'm done talking, I want you to tell me what you think in 3 words or less. Are you ready?
Watch the Rockets. Watch the Rockets, man. You just need to watch the Rockets. Listen, no, I can't. I think we're going to learn a lot this weekend. That's not 3 words, but that's
learned a lot. Learned a lot. Yeah, I think we will, because it's just, I don't know how we can't. With the horses that are mixed into these 2 races, it's going to tell us a lot. Yeah, I'll say legit. I'll just keep it 1 word, legit. I don't know which race it's going to be. My gut says it's going to be the in the Holy Bull with Prime Factor. But it could be Hot Rod Charlie. It could be Medina Spirit. But I feel like one of these horses is going to perform. Like you said, there's such a mixed bag. You feel like one of them is going to perform enough. You're like, that horse is legit. Like that horse is going to be someone that's going to be top 5. So yeah, legit. So I think we both are on the same page saying we're going to see something this weekend, something that's notable for the Kentucky Derby Trail. So stay tuned. And that wraps up Rapid Fire.
I wanted to ask Magic real quick. Magic, you think there's a chance they cancel that Saturday card at Santa Anita, or is the rain going to move out by the time, say tomorrow morning, afternoon, to where it won't be a problem on Saturday? We'll wait for his answer.
Patiently.
Because they're very, very careful because of what happened at Santa Anita. Even though they probably don't need to be, but they have to be.
Right.
The problems at Santa Anita were much more than, it's raining outside. So, unfortunately.
Oh man, my 3 is 8-1. You chalked out again. What are you doing?
I picked a 10-1 in the last race and ran dead last. So I haven't heard it'll be canceled. Magic. That's not what I'm asking. Yes, check the weather. Of course you haven't heard. If you've heard, we've heard. So speculate for just a second. Check your weather and see if you think we're clear or not. We're not going to hold you to it. Just give us some inside info from somebody that's living out there.
Well, Ron says they will cancel.
Okay, if there's 1 drop of water. Okay, rain should stop around 2:00 tomorrow. I would call that card 50-50 if that's the case. Wouldn't you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the way they are so careful, wouldn't surprise me if we get an email late Friday evening saying the card's canceled.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, given that there's only one major stakes race, on the turf, maybe they keep it, but you hate to get into changing Derby preps already.
Yeah,
we've been through that. But no, I mean, I think there's a chance if they've already canceled Friday. I mean, there's a chance they cancel Saturday. So
Yep. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. We'll talk a little playoffs, and we are 8 minutes to post for our race 6 at Charlestown, so maybe we get into that as well. But yeah, we'll wrap it up. All right, 3, 2, 1. So all the time we have, check out racingdudes.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our handicap products page. Go to the products link at the main menu at racingdudes.com to learn more. You want to check out the site here in the coming days. The new website is about to launch. You're going to love it. Can't wait to release it. We've been working on it. Literally, I feel like it's been 4 months now. So excited to launch that here in the coming week or so. So stay tuned for that. Racingdudes.com is your destination site for all free horse racing picks information for all major tracks running in the United States, including Charlestown. That's right. Your boys are playing Charlestown right now. We got them all. We're on Twitter at RaceHorseDudes, Instagram and Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, even website at racedudes.com. Remember to check out the Magic Mike Show. They just previewed earlier today. They previewed their picks for Sunday's All Stakes late pick 4 sequence of Sam Houston. So we talked a little bit of Sam Houston earlier. If you want to really get into Sam Houston, go check out the Magic Mike Show right now. Of course, Ricky Rockets, the Rocket Hour coming up. What are you guys doing tomorrow? Is that the last day, right? You do Friday?
Yeah, we'll do Friday. We'll be at Oaklawn Park. Boy, Ricky has just missed the pick 5 or the pick 4. I mean, by a nose twice. Jared, the last race at Gulfstream Park today. He's alive to the 4 and the 8.
Oh,
and the 11. I mean, I don't know how the 11 noses out the 8. So that was just awful.
The 8 too. That's brutal.
Yeah, Ricky will be fired up tomorrow and I'm sure we'll talk about what happened yesterday. So, but yeah, Oakland tomorrow.
Let's see what else. We have been. I wanted to kind of bring this out on the podcast, and listen if you comment or message us. But us kind of getting into tournaments, and obviously Samich is a big tournament player. If we've talked about really expanding our coverage on the website to tournaments, whether it be on articles, whether it be on things like this, live streams, maybe us doing contests together and kind of talking throughout the contest, whatever it is. If you guys are interested in that in tournaments, let us know, because we would love to kind of get more into that. We just don't know kind of what the interest is. If we don't want to sit here and ramble about our tournament teams or tournament entries if you guys don't care. So, but it's something we've been talking about on the website. So make sure to let us know if there is interest there. All right. We talked a little bit about it on the opening. The Chiefs, just full domination of the Buffalo Bills. I mean, you and I got to watch it together at your house. Chiefs start off in a hole like normal, right?
Yep.
And then go off, and then I think it was a 38-6 or something like that run that they did against the Bills. So just full domination.
At this point, it's like, okay, will they be challenged? Who can do it? It's that game. Even when it was 9-0, it's like, okay, all they got to do is just like score once, because you could tell they were better even when they were getting beat. And honestly, I found that game to be almost boring at times, because it's like this isn't a matchup. This is like watching like Michael Jordan play like his kid brother. On one-on-one. It's like, even if it gets close, at any time they can just turn it on and blow them out. And that's exactly what they did. I'm waiting for somebody to challenge them. The Browns game would have been just like the Bills game if Mahomes would have stayed healthy the whole game. So I don't know. Is it Tampa? I don't really think so, but I guess we'll see, right?
I sent you a stat earlier this week, and it's so insane, right? Like, so since Mahomes threw that second pick in the Super Bowl last year, right? Since he threw that second pick in the Super Bowl last year, the Chiefs have had 19 drives in the playoffs with Mahomes on the field. In those 19 drives, they've had 10 touchdowns, 5 field goals, 3 kneels, and 1 punt. And we witnessed the one punt together.
Yeah. And the one punt was a touchdown.
It was a drop touchdown. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's just insane that when Mahomes is on the field, you just can't stop him, and it doesn't matter. You pick your weapon. Listen, I was nervous. I got quickly unnervous during that game, because you could just tell, like you said, there's toying with them.
Yeah.
The defense has to be spoken about because they played lights out. They really put the pressure on Allen. And listen, I mean, I think Josh Allen's going to be a great quarterback, but that wasn't his night. They forced him into some bad throws. So let's move forward. Obviously, let's talk a little bit about. We'll talk about the Super Bowl matchup. We can talk about that next week, I guess. But I think we both liked Green Bay, right? I didn't think Green Bay could lose that game, and yet they did. And just there's obviously been a ton of talk in the last couple of days about whether they should have gone for it on fourth down, which they should have. If Rodgers is leaving, whose call was it to not go for it on fourth down? Rodgers says, well, if I would have known we were going to go for it on fourth down, I would have picked a different play on third down. There's so much bullshit out there. Like, where have you landed on this? I mean, because that was a kind of a weird game. Like, it felt for a second like Green Bay was coming back, and then they could never break through. I feel like Rodgers had every opportunity to win that game. He just couldn't.
People focus on the fourth down, go for it, not go for it, and the flag that gave Tampa Bay the first down to end the game. It's the wrong things to focus on. The Green Bay Packers played like complete shit in this game. They give up a touchdown, 40-yard touchdown pass to end the half, and then they come out and fumble to start the second half, get in a hole, come all the way back. They turn over Brady 3 times. Aaron Rodgers has multiple chances still, even after all the blunders, to take the team down the field and take the lead. They don't do it. There's 100 reasons they lost this game that don't have anything to do with, well, they didn't go for it on fourth down or there was a phantom penalty. The Packers should be shot. They blew this game. And when you get in close games, it comes down to sometimes to small decisions or a penalty here or there that decide the outcome. But the reason the outcome was decided by those kind of things squarely lies on the shoulders of the Green Bay Packers. They blew it. They should be shot. They are a better team than Tampa. They just got their ass beat in this game because of stupidity on their side. Can you imagine giving up a 40-yard touchdown pass at the end of a half? There's no timeouts. There's 8 seconds on the clock, and you let somebody get behind you. And not only are they behind you, they're a couple steps behind you. It was not an incredible play. It was just a go route, and Brady just hit a wide open guy, which he's going to do. To me, that was where the game really pivoted towards Tampa.
Yeah, I mean because all the momentum shifted right there. Yep. I mean, because they were going to punt, and then they called timeout, and they're like, "Well, let's go for it on fourth down real quick, see if we can." And then they throw that, it's just like. It almost conceded the half, and then it turned into 7 points. And that really changed, like you said, then the fumble in the second half, and it snowballed. And you and I were watching it together, and it just kept it's like, all right, Green Bay's going to get back in this, and then they punt. Green Bay's going to get back in it. Oh, Brady threw a bad pick. Green Bay's going to get in it. They punt. And it's just like you say, I get it. They probably should have gone for it on fourth down. Rodgers should have ran for it on third down. He probably would have scored. There's a lot of should-haves that don't just equate to that going for it on fourth down or not. I feel like a lot of blame goes on Rodgers as well. Listen, I don't know. You tell me. There's a lot to be said about a leader on a team, and when Mahomes is always in guys' faces and we got this. It's a big game. Continue. I'm going to go back to you. Don't worry about it. Come on. And Aaron Rodgers, he's a great talent. Don't get me wrong, but he just kind of goes to the sideline and is by himself, and then goes back out and does it. He doesn't. I feel like there's Tom Brady has as many NFC championships as Aaron Rodgers does. You know what I mean? It just. Yeah. He's an unbelievable player, but I feel like he is not a great leader. And that kind of, you saw a leader on the field. You didn't see one. And that was Tom Brady, and that was Aaron Rodgers. Right. And then Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl. He's
a prick. Let's call a spade a spade. Aaron Rodgers is not a very good guy. I mean, that's all there is to it. If Pat Mahomes loses a heartbreaking game one day, surely he will one day. You're not going to see him act like that in the press conference. You're not going to see him questioning the coaching staff. You're not going to see him act like a big baby up there. And Aaron Rodgers is not a very likable guy, period. I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I don't necessarily blame him for the loss. I don't. They had a lot of other problems that weren't him. But he also didn't go out and win the game for him either. And that's a fact. And that's all there is to it. And you're right. Tom Brady's played 1 year in the NFC. He has just as many NFC championships games. And I'm not like a lot of people and look at quarterback as the biggest stat for a quarterback is the win and loss. I think you win and lose games with all 22 guys, 11 defense, 11 offense. I think the quarterbacks get way too much blame, for a game that's lost. But at the same time, he's been at Green Bay a lot of years. They've had a lot of pretty good teams, and to only get to one Super Bowl, it ain't good.
I know.
It ain't good.
It's kind of like, dude, like what's the common denominator here, right? Like
they went through coaches now. They've went through a lot of players. He's one of the best. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. One Super Bowl. I mean, and that's fine. I mean, that's it's hard to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
But they've blown a lot of chances. Let's say he won the one Super Bowl, right? And then they're not in the playoffs for 6 years because they're just not very good. Okay, that's one thing. But you constantly are in the playoffs and losing. I mean, to me, you kind of got to look at the quarterback and listen, if they don't have him, they're not any good. But at the same time, you got to win one of these games. And that was a game where his team made a ton of mistakes, but they were right there for him to go win it. Here's one for you. Yeah, they should have went for it on 4th down. Why could they not get the ball? Why couldn't they get a yard 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down?
Yeah, right.
2nd down, it looks like he's going to run, could have got yards. 3rd down, looks like he's going to run, could have got yards. I don't think he scores either time. But then if you're 4th and goal from the 2 or the 3,
it's a lot different
decision.
Yeah. And even if he runs for it on 3rd down and gets tackled at the 2 or something, it's like, well, 4th down at 2, like you go for it, right?
Yeah, listen, and he can crybaby around all he wants and blame the coach, but you had 3 downs to get it a little bit closer to make that decision easier, and you didn't do it either. So a lot of it's on him for being in that position of 4th and goal from the 9 instead of the 2 or the 3. So I don't, I didn't like his attitude one bit after that game.
And do you realize, do you remember, just out of the top, do you remember what year it was when Green Bay won the Super Bowl?
No, I don't.
It was 2011. It was, I mean, and at that time, you would have thought it was February 6th, 2011, so it's 2010 season. But you would have thought, oh, Aaron Rodgers, he might win 3 or 4. This guy, look at and like you say, it hasn't happened, and there's something to be said. I don't know if it's as he's kind of become is he? I mean, he's a legit, one of the top quarterbacks to ever play in terms of talent. There's no doubt about it. But as a leader, he's awful, and it seems like it should, because there's no way this team should have lost to Tampa Bay, and they did because they have Tom Brady. Which, speaking of Tom Brady, I mean, it just. We'll talk about. We'll give our picks for the Super Bowl next week and whatnot. You know who I'm going to pick, but it's
me too.
the fact that Tom Brady is whatever he's 43 or whatever he is. We've all these years, 55 years, 54 years, we've not had a Super Bowl at a home stadium, and here comes Tom Brady, and he gets it done on the NFC side of things. Just unbelievable. I know there's a lot of Tom Brady haters. I'm not one of them. I really like Tom Brady, and the fact that he's been able to do this with Tampa Bay. I mean, I know they were a good team, but what did they win last year? I don't know off the top of my head, but I feel like it wasn't 8 games or something.
No, they're not a good team. They were not a good team before he got there, and the fact that they're there, it speaks volumes for him. I mean, Tampa Bay, you look at the history of Tampa Bay Buccaneer football, it's pretty bad. Yeah, they did win one Super Bowl, but past that, it's pretty horrible. So, right. Yeah, he's unreal. And listen, if you hate the guy, it's just because you're a hater. There's really no reason to. So, yeah, he's back. a lot of people are going to be rooting against him. A lot of people are going to be rooting for your Chiefs. And listen, I think Ricky said it best. It's baby goat versus mature goat. And, and he said, I'd rather be baby goat at this point. So,
well, it's awesome because I think everyone was kind of hoping maybe Aaron Rodgers versus Mahomes, but now you get, like you say, the goat versus baby goat, and that's kind of fun too. Maybe this could be the official kind of changing of the guard, so to speak. We'll see. They've had some good matchups in the past, and I think we're going to see another good one in the Super Bowl. So, all right. Any last thoughts? We done?
I'm done. Yeah, I think I've given all I can give here. I'm done.
All right, let's get this race done here. Come on, 3.
3's moving, but not gonna get there. The 2 might. Come on, 9. Get to the wire. Get to the wire. Get to the wire. All right, got it. 9-2. 3 gave you a thrill for a second.
That's all my picks tonight have given me a thrill. All your winners are chalk. You're gonna get beat at the end.
Well, maybe, but it's Charleston. You got to pick your spots to play against chalk because a lot of these horses don't really want to be out there.
All right. Well, I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend.
Well, the 2 was 17-1.